Lactation. Hi. Hello. How are you? I thought it would be a great day to talk about why are we the only mammals who drink another mammal's milk? Ew. So right now, 260 million cows worldwide are used to produce 750 million tons of milk for the globe, and that number's rising. That's alarming. So it had me thinking, how come we are the only species of mammal that drinks another mammal's milk? What is that about us, and where did it start? Well, I was reading, and it looks like it started back in the Neolithic revolution when they were learning how agriculture worked. But now, what we do with milk today has taken it from being a really good source of vitamins and protein and turned it into chemical warfare. So, milk is just the liquid that's produced from the mammary glands in animals, so breasts. And what I always thought was a little weird is how come we don't just drink human female milk? And as crazy as that idea sounds, all the ideas of everything I read about milk, from where it comes from to how it was thought of, it's all crazy. So you gotta throw the crazy argument out the window when it comes to this shit. But it is kind of interesting. Like, obviously mammals drink their own mother's milk for great nourishment, especially when young. And early lactation carries colostrum, which is essential for young offspring. That's where, whether it is an animal or a human, the mother is passing through antibodies that her body has produced and giving them to the young, making the young able to survive in this world, making it capable of fighting off unwanted illness and stuff like that. So that makes sense that we consume milk, but it doesn't make sense when you're thinking about consuming another mammal's milk. And the statistics on that show why. 6 billion people on this world consume milk. And it did include infancy stage, so that does include that, but those are people! And that's crazy because we haven't even hit 8 billion people. I don't drink milk. I do love dairy products. I think cheese is amazing, yogurt's awesome. I love ice cream, but I've never been a huge milk fan, so just that fact alone shocked me. I cannot believe worldwide 6 billion people are consuming milk. That's outrageous. Not that it's bad, I was just really caught off guard by that figure. 55% of all antibiotics in the United States of America are used on our livestock. Therefore, that means that all of the antibiotics that are injected into cattle or other livestock are then slaughtered, and when they die, that shit just doesn't disappear. It goes onto your kitchen table. So with that, you're taking in pesticides, you're taking in bioengineered chemicals, you're taking on hormones, and all of that stuff is leading to 350,000 global incidences of unintended pesticide poisonings. That is unintentional death. Okay, so that is what we are doing just by ingesting shit we're putting into our cattle or onto our crops just to keep them from spoiling or going bad too early or surviving through a drought. This is stuff we're doing. And honestly, after the cattle are killed, whatever doesn't go to your kitchen table is then seeping off into runoff and it ends up in our water. So one way or another, we're getting stuck with taking on this payload of hormone injections and bioengineered chemicals and pesticides that we did not ever ask for. Another alarming figure that blew my mind is the fact that cow's milk is intended for cows solely for the purpose that they are born as 65-pound cattle and then in 1 year are expected to hit 400 pounds. That is due to milk. That's milk. Milk is filled with stuff cows need, like heavy protein intake, and it actually delivers them twice the amount of calcium we need in order to grow faster. And the funny thing is, we don't even digest calcium properly from dairy, but I'm getting to that in a minute. It's just interesting how cow's milk became the norm when it actually doesn't benefit us much, and what it does benefit us was completely lost during the processing stages, those decades where farming went from going from farm to to then farm to a processing plant to a packaging facility to then your grocery store, then your table. I mean, this stuff is being shipped and processed through so many stages that you're ending up with a liquid that has a little bit of what it was originally mixed with a whole lot of chemicals. Okay, that's reality. That's just what you're going home with from the grocery store. And honestly, organic dairy farm milk, not much better. It's not much better. They're finding out in studies that calcium is actually depleting when we intake milk and dairy. It's actually leading to a cause of osteoporosis. This is serious because growing up, I knew a kid of the 90s, I grew up hearing that milk and dairy products, but milk specific, you drink that by the gallon if you want to grow and you want your bones to be healthy. But they're proving that the opposite is true. That literally means we were lied to our whole lives, and people knew that. And that's the stuff that freaks me out, because these big companies are hiding actual factual information that people aren't finding out until scientists or studies are done. And then the people don't want to believe it because you were sold into buying into this idea that something was good for you, and now you just can't fathom that you were lied to. It's like, no, you were. You were lied to. It can lead to osteoporosis, it can lead to bone deterioration, and it can lead to calcium deficiency, according to Save Our Bones campaign and the Physicians Committee for Reasonable Medicine. Those are two things that I like to think are actually up on their knowledge of what milk and dairy can do to us. Honestly, these are two groups of people, individuals saying, hey, you know what? Milk is not everything we were selling to people. Milk is a little bit different, and people need to know that information. All they're saying is know what you're drinking and then make your choice. Nobody's saying, hey, stop milk, you're a moron. People are just trying to give you information. So don't clap back. Take it in. Two side effects I never even thought of due to drinking milk. One being weight gain, which I guess makes sense, but they're saying it's related to the high calorie preserving processes. But then another one that shocked me is acne. They're actually saying that it's linked to dairy intake consumption, according to the American Academy of Dermatology. That is interesting. It also causes heavy mucus, it can cause sore bones, and it can cause lethargic feelings. So those are just some side effects, but honestly, those aren't even all side effects, because as we're finding out, people love to lie. So a lot of things are being kept from you still, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is the stuff that you're being allowed to learn about milk. Take that in, honestly. Digest that shit. So the most alarming fact for me personally is that milk is an acidifying animal protein. And basically what that means is that anybody that is in an acidic state inside, so when the acidity level in your body is high, you are at a risk for high levels of cancer and an increased risk of heart disease. Those are things that any good doctor, any good dietitian, any good family planner would tell you. A high acidity diet leads to higher heart disease, an increased risk for cancer, along with much, much more. It's really bad, and honestly, the alkaline subject, which is the completely other end of the spectrum, is a really fascinating topic, and I'm going to do a video on that shortly. But basically, with something that is an acidifying animal protein, it's basically saying that it has a positive potential renal acid load, which is also caused a PRAL. But basically it's saying that it triggers protective bioreactions in your body, and those neutralize acid proteins before they hit your kidneys, basically keeping your body in an acidic state. It's not a good thing, and you don't want your body to be in an acidic state. You want alkaline. In an alkaline body, cancer cannot exist. Cancer cannot exist. You want to beat cancer? Go alkaline. And I'm going to do a video on that, so stay tuned. Now, not to be a total Debbie Downer, and I just took away all of your cow milk, but I did want to leave everybody with a short list of some really cool alternatives and what their best alternative is and how they can substitute your cow's milk intake. But also, I am going to share some downfalls of each individual one because you need to know. I'm not saying there's a quick fix. There's not some magic here that, oh, get rid of milk and throw in this and boom, you're fine. I mean, there's going to be problems where it doesn't taste right for you or, the consistency is off. But that's what I want to give you so that you have a choices, okay? All right, so first is soy. Soy is obviously a really big one, especially here in the States. It stays stable at a high temperature, and that's great. When you cook it, that means it's going to cook well. It's going to be safe for you to eat, and that's a great thing. The downfall about soy, though, is everywhere you look, people will tell you to look for non-GMO soy. It's a really big problem. And the bigger problem about that is you can't find it. All soy is genetically modified at this point. Soy is kind of shit on now. Also, a really sucky downfall about soy just naturally is that it does carry estrogen, which isn't good for males to consume at large. So, small intakes, yeah, good for you. Large intakes, might want to leave that for the girlies. The next one's almond milk. Almond milk is by far the most popular in the States. It is high in vitamins and nutrients, which is an awesome alternative for milk, and it's great for cooking. It's great for cooking. It's a little sweet, so some people want to keep that away from a savory dish, but other than that, it's good to go. The only thing is it's not a good source of protein. So if you're looking to still maintain the protein intake from the dairy milk that you were taking in, you're going to have to find something to substitute for that. And also just know that while we're experiencing a drought worldwide, but especially California specific, almonds are mainly grown in California and their farms need it's an insane amount. It's like 80% of America's water intake is for almonds. It's like something super nuts. Okay, not 80, but it's probably... What if it is 80? What if I'm like, no, not 80, but it is 80? Okay, I didn't fact check that, but it takes a lot of water. Okay? Coconut milk, by far my favorite, just because I love the damn coconut. But it's very sweet. So that can make it hard for you to use in a lot of dishes. However, the really cool thing about coconut milk is that once you add it to food, and there's a good amount of food that has flavor, it's going to dilute the coconut taste. So that isn't even going to be a problem. The taste is super subtle. And then I was reading that if you buy coconut milk in a can, it's not actually coconut milk that you would drink. It's stuff that you would use to cook. However, it's derived from the meat of an actual coconut, and it is so good for you. It says it has 48 grams of fat, which is good for you. We need a fat intake. Don't think fat is bad. Fat doesn't equate to bad. Sugar's bad. But it also has 5 grams of protein. So it's actually a really, really good substitute. Look into coconuts. They're amazing things. So next is rice milk. It's very thin, and people say that it tastes the most like cow's milk, which is awesome. Like if you need a substitute for that for maybe some milk to drink, that tastes like regular milk, there you go. But it is hard to cook with, it is very thin, and it's not the best for baking either. So, some of these substitutes might only be used for one thing. Look at that. Okay, the next one was oat milk. Now, this I've never tried, and I don't think I want to. Sorry to all them oat milk lovers. But it says that it's comparable to low-fat or skim, also a reason I wouldn't drink it. I love my 2%. But it is pre-soaked oat groats. I don't even know what a groat is. Groat? Don't know what that is. Don't know if I want to ingest it quite yet. Not at my age. Next one's hemp. Hemp is by far the best milk for you because not only is it a great substitute, but it's better than dairy milk. Honestly, I was reading about this. It says it has the most protein other than soy. However, the soy protein, not the best for men. So hemp, get at it, men. Honestly, it says 1 glass of hemp's milk will give you an entire daily dose of your omega-3 fatty acid intake. And then the last one that I found was flax milk. Flax milk is basically just cold-pressed flax oil. That's all it is. So that sounds disgusting. However, it's great for cereal. They're saying, y'all, great for cereal. So these are just some alternatives. I wanted to give you guys that so you had something to look into, you have something to think about. Next time you grab a glass of milk or have a bowl of cereal, think about what you're eating. You get to choose whether or not you will or will not continue to drink milk. It is your choice. However, I say veto the shit and find something better. My vote, coconut or hemp milk. Boy. All right. Hope you have a good Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. It's been fabulous.